The Hash It Out Show is brought to you by Barreto Home Solutions, Bayou Audio and Video, Hot Works on the North Shore, JFK Martial Arts in Mandeville and Covington, Lil Dizzy's Cafe, The Green Law Firm, personal injury attorney, Kaylin Parker of Magnolia Wealth Strategies, Moe's Pizza, Lance's AC and Heating, CC's Children Blocks, The Pierre Family in Lafayette, Louisiana, Drums Earwear.
Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Move, move, move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. 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 Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Move, move, move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB, the sports guy. We got a good one for y'all tonight. Got a lot of things to talk about, and we got two guests joining us. We got Chris Singleton out of the Bayou area. He's going to talk about Edie White and St. James. And we also got our good friend Lamar Gafford, who's going to talk about the Alexandria Trojans. Y'all know I can't do this without my good friend, the one, the only, George Peppers. What's up, GP?
What's up, JB? Well, a little travailing, but we're here, and it's championship week, the week we've waited for all year long. It is going to be a festive atmosphere in the Caesar Superdome starting Thursday at 12 o'clock. Lots of local representation, two West Bank teams, a Plaquemines Parish team. Holy cow. St. James, South Plaque, Shaw, Carr, lots of local. And I'll say this, I'm going to make one fearless prediction before we get into this. The total crowd cumulative attendance record is going down this weekend.
You think
Whatever
so?
the old, no, so
Huh.
I'm telling you,
Okay.
Listen, Shaw is going to pack that place. That's going to be Brother Martin from 2 years ago. Shaw, when Brother Martin packed the dome. Look, we don't want that result. What happened to Brother Martin two
No,
years
we don't
ago?
want that
I mean,
result.
they got bageled, but South Plaquemines last one out, turn out the lights in Buras. I can guarantee you, some Bell Chase people are going to make their way to the dome to support their brethren. St. James is going to be there. I mean, the northern teams, even Haynesville, they always travel well. We've seen this many a time. Alexandria, it's their first time in New Orleans. You think they're not coming? Absolutely, they'll be here. And Dunham's here. I mean, they're going to bring a bunch of people. Baton Rouge, Orleans, what is that, a 90-minute drive? Easy. I mean,
Less than
just, yeah, not even, well, it depends on whose right foot is on that gas pedal. So,
that.
I mean, just throwing it out there, this is Louisiana, and there are drivers that are a little fickle. But all in all, we are grateful to be a part of it, and it's going to be fun. But I got to give a big thank you on behalf of the Hash It Out Show to all those who tuned into our stream from Friday night. South Plaquemines and Logan Sport, a highly spirited, competitive football game, drew our biggest viewership in the 2 years that we've done this streaming. 8,700 people tuned in. We thank all of y'all. We thank all of y'all. And man, you talk about humbling, extremely. Because, we were following the numbers, and our great cameraman, and I shouted him out Friday night, and I'm going to do it again here. Devin Martino and Parker Boyd, without you two, we're not here. we don't do this. We don't have the numbers we have without you guys putting in your hard work, and we thank y'all again. It's 2 years, Jared. We were looking forward to 25, but we still got to close out 24, and that's championship week in the dome. And you and I are going to be there Thursday to start the festivities, and it's going to be fun times. And yeah, there's some personal stakes here. You know, I mean, uh, excuse me. The fact that Shaw is playing for a title, my brother is a Shaw grad, you as well. So it's a little personal in that respect. But you know what? I'm glad I'm not a part of that. I'm actually glad that neither one of us are in that broadcast. I don't think unless we have a
Emmanuel got to
good
call
game.
a game. Emmanuel calling the
No,
game.
he's color analyst. He's not calling.
Still
He's
working.
calling it. Yeah, he is. And I told him, I said, dude, I wish you were on that field with us. But it's okay. It's
Yeah,
okay. We're gonna do the celebration. If they win, on the celebration will be on big time. But and I
definitely.
got to yeah, exactly, Enoch. But I need to know how you did last week, sir, on your picks, because our last place guy beat the brakes off of me and Jared last week. 12-3. 12-3. That dude VK. Every the sun shines on the squirrels. You know what? But every once in a while, the old axiom. VK went 12-3 last week. Jared, you and I struggled last week, 9-6.
It happened, but it's okay.
It
It's okay.
happens. But
All right.
hey,
Yeah.
championship. Let's get championship week right this year. Let's get it right.
Enoch said he think he went 10-6, so he did better than us.
All
That's
right,
true.
he did. But see, he picked games we didn't pick though. He picked the South Platte game, and we didn't have that game.
Well, that's okay. All right.
It is what it
I'm
is.
gonna, I'm
Let's
gonna play
go.
this clip for y'all right quick, and we'll give our thoughts quickly. We had a big time technical difficulty. That's why we're a little late.
Huge.
We apologize for that, but we got it running. But here we go. Let me get this up and running for you all right quick. All right. Let me play it.
Oh boy.
You squared off against Ruston. You squared off against Central. Bearcats, big favorite in this one, you think?
Bearcats are going to beat the brakes off of them.
All right.
You can mark that down.
All right. Second thing, let's address a couple elephants in the room. The situation before the game. You knew Central. Did you know that was kind of their tradition to march down the field? And, of course, what escalated from that?
Well, that is their tradition, but they're not going to walk down the field and kick our balls around and jump up and down on the end and jump up and down in the end zone and make fools out of themselves, which is really what they did. And, it's supposed to be about sportsmanship, and that was about as classless as it comes. As it gets. And, if the LHSA doesn't recognize that, then the sportsmanship that they sent out at the beginning of the season was, about as phony as it gets for, a team being able to, do something like that. And, I don't care if they go out there and do it, but they're going to, do it when our kids are trying to come out on the field. We're stretching in the weight room, getting ready to go out on the field.
Yeah.
So, again, about as classless as it gets.
Okay.
Mm.
So I got a lot to say about it right quick, and then I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So Jordan Taylor said he went 11-5. VK Austin said he gave VK all the good luck. All right. Yes,
Ah.
indeed. All right. So this is the first thing. Let me start off with this. Because I've been reading all the comments and everything. And then I watched the game. I had time to actually watch the game. And the first thing I'm going to say is Coach Collins did shake the hands of the Central coaches. Go and watch the end of the game. Find where he is and just follow him. He shakes the hands of the Central coaches. People were saying he did not shake their hands. These people are wrong. The footage shows it. The evidence is there. So do not say that Coach Collins did not shake the hands of these people. No, Coach Collins is a class act still. Okay. Now, yes, what you just heard, he's still upset about what happened. Okay. I'm not there, but I'm still reading what people said. People said that Neville wasn't on the field, number one. Coach Collins said they were about to come on the field. So I'm not picking a side, okay? There's a story to my left, there's a story to my right, a story behind me, and a story in front of me. So I don't know who's right. But I will say this for me, if I'm a head coach and it's not taking a shot at nobody, I'm the one that's going to stay on my side of the field. That's just it. Now, if Neville wasn't on the field at all, I understand. They're not on the field. Let's go ahead and walk it. That's cool. It's something that I probably wouldn't do, but I get it. They're not on the field. If Neville is about to come on the field or they on that side, I don't think it's something you do. So I'm not placing fault on anybody, but in the video, you don't even see a Neville player. You see the Neville coaches. But Coach Collins said they were stretching and they were about to come out. So I'm not picking a side at all, but I would stay on my side. That's just me. That's just me. But I get it if no one is on the field and you walking and you going. I get it. I'm not taking a side. I think this could have been worked out better than what we saw because these are things we don't want to see in high school football. But what are your thoughts about it, George Peppers?
Where to start? First off, thank you, KNOE and Aaron Dietrich, for providing us that clip that we just listened to. And uh, where to start? I mean, first off, maybe sour grapes on Coach Collins' part, because if he goes back and watch the game, his special teams failed him miserably. Couple of
I
missed field
I,
goals.
I watched it. I sat there and said, I don't know how they lost this game for Neville.
They
I don't know
should
how they
have. They
lost this
outplayed
game.
Central. They
Yeah,
outplayed Central for a very big majority of the game. It was a block six that was the winnings that wound up being the winning score. They blocked a field goal that Central took back to the end zone to the house, scoop and score, and put them in front for keeps. So if I'm Coach Collins, I'm looking in the mirror and saying, "Pop, my special teams failed me Friday night." But credit Central for battling. That's the on the field thing. Now, to address the elephant in the room, the walk across the field. I've never seen Central do this. It may be a tradition. I don't know. I don't live in Baton Rouge. Neither do you. So I can't speak to what I don't know. I didn't, this is the first I've seen a school actually do that. Arm in arm, lock arms, and going from one end zone to the other. I've never seen that. I've never seen Curtis do it. I've never seen Evangel in their heyday. Cavalry, you guys, Shaw,
right.
Everett, I've never seen schools do this. Never. So why in the semifinals do we decide, well, we'll make it a tradition. Let's go march it up and it's like
Well,
Cajun.
supposedly they've been doing it though. Supposedly,
But see, we don't know that though.
right?
We don't know that. If we can find archival footage of other pre games, which I'm pretty sure, and whatnot. And look, I'm not going to pick a side either in reference to this fiasco because it is a fiasco.
There you go
You
from
have it
Jordan.
dead right
It's been done at all three schools he's been a part of.
with the LOL at the end. So that's a little a little humor. Okay. I mean, if it's been done, fine. But again, at the end of the day, the thing that I'm looking to, that's the last game of the day on the championship weekend. Not Neville, Ruston and Central. That's the last game on the 8th on Saturday. Curious to see how Ruston approaches this. I mean,
I don't
what
know.
do they do? Do their coaches decide, wait a minute, if they're going to pull that nonsense, we ain't going to be nowhere near this field, you know?
We
Um,
got we gotta wait and see because I know us three, me, you, and VK, got to do the between game host
yeah,
after
between
Carr.
Carr, Alexandria,
Yeah,
and
leading
then
up to this game. So
we're the lead into Ruston and Central.
correct.
So, and I'm looking forward to that part. And that's going to be fun stuff. Um,
With
I
respect to
don't know,
Coach Michelle, they that for sure I know. Coach Crutchfield did do it when he was a coach at St. Augustine. He did do that. Yes.
my question is why, when you draw disrespect, Jared, is why would you do that? If
Well,
you know you're going to draw the ire of another team and they're going to get sour.
it's I don't know. It's hard to answer that because if I'm the head coach, I'm not going past the 50. I'm gonna stay on my side. But
At
if
all.
no one is on the field, then I don't think it's an issue. If no other team is on the field, okay, boom, just Okay, no one's on the field. I don't have a problem with that. So I don't know, but it's like what's being said. If Neville was coming out, then I understand their
Different
gripe.
story.
I understand their gripe. If they weren't
Different
coming
narrative.
out, then I don't know. I'm just saying I wouldn't do it. If I see the opposing team about to come out or they're out, I'm not going past the 50. If they're not out and not about to come out and we walk the whole field, I totally understand it. Nobody's on the field. So, I mean, that's why I'm not saying who's right, who's wrong, or not picking a side. It's just the fact that I don't know, man. It's just, I don't know.
And and let's not make this be the story of championship week. You know, what happened happened. Um,
We'll be there,
it,
Austin. We're going to be in the press box in
yeah,
between games, and we're going to come down to the field once that game starts. Go ahead.
you know, and um, let's not make this be the story. At the end of the day, let's focus on the fact that
Right.
we've got 8 games over 3 days indoors without worrying about elements. Cold. It's a 70 degree climate controlled temperature in a dome. Might be better football than we'll see this coming Sunday. I mean, the Commanders are coming in here. Maybe the Commanders will be the ones providing the fireworks on Sunday. We'll see. That's another
We'll
story.
see.
Yeah, that will
Definitely.
be said. But let's not make this be the story of championship week. We talk about it because Neville, I think, is putting it out there, and look, I saw some of those comments as well. And to those of you that want to act like you know what you're talking about, there are muzzles for sale that we can sell you. Slow your roll, man. Stop typing on a keyboard and prove that you were there and you saw what you saw. No, cut that noise out, man. Look, it was a good football game that, quite frankly, Neville should have won. Jared, can we make that assertion?
Yeah, from what I
Neville
saw,
really,
yeah, that was the one.
when you
Yeah.
watch that game back, do you make that assertion that Neville was the better team? Yes, you do. Uh, Missed field goals, the block six, you
Some
leaving
questionable
points
play
out
calling a
there.
little bit. Yeah. They had all that.
Yeah, all
Um,
that.
yep. So
But
Jeffrey
take nothing
Mitchell,
away from Central, though.
no, nothing at all. Jeffrey
Mm-mm.
Mitchell, yes, we're gonna watch Calicut New Iberia. We sure will watch them. And also, Jeffrey, y'all head coach is on our show tomorrow night.
Yep.
You can thank me later. All right, we're moving on. Joining us right now is our good friend. He's going to talk about St. James and Edie White with us. We got the one, the only Chris Singleton. Chris, what's going on, my friend? How you doing?
How's it going, guys? How are y'all?
Doing great, my
Doing
man.
wonderful,
Doing
Chris.
great. So, Chris, let's get right to it. St. James was in the dome a year ago. Came up short by 1 point. Got revenge last week on Union Parish, and now they are back. Did you ever see this team being so young getting back to the state championship within a year?
Of course. I mean, obviously, when you talk about St. James football, it's never a rebuild season, it's a reload season. I mean, that's football country. Those kids, they've been in that system, they've grown up in that beautiful downtown Bashery environment for the last 3, 4, 5 years. They know what it takes to win games. And the question there is, like you say, I know they lost a lot of key players, especially at quarterback. Braden Williams was an all-world, all-state quarterback last year. Almost led them to that state championship. They lost 1 point to Union Parish in the Dome last year. Losing that guy, losing some other key seniors were, you know, had a lot of people thinking, hey, St. James will take a step back this year. But they have a lot of talent that people don't even know. I was talking to Coach Levante Davis throughout the season, and they have a lot of unnamed star gems that a lot of people don't know, who are freshmen, sophomores, and even juniors that just never had the chance to really show it on the field yet, and they're doing it now. And so I never questioned whether St. James can't make it to the Dome. I always think they got a shot, especially with a good coaching staff. It was just a question if the young players could step in, and they did that this year. So, here they are, number one seed. They're back in it, and that's a testament to what they've been able to do and build that program up over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Would you say maybe this is Coach Levantas Davis' best coaching job since he's been at St. James as the head coach?
I would say so, especially you look at the situation with the quarterback. They have a freshman quarterback who's just 14 years old, Jawan Jackson. He's a big guy. He reminds a lot of people. I don't know if y'all know about Lowell Narcisse. You know, when he was playing at St. James, he's not left-handed like Lowell was, but he's really, he's strong. He's confident. He's faced pressure situation. I'm gonna tell you, St. James fans are dedicated. They're hard. They love you when you win, and they're hard on you when you lose. But they still love you. To be a starting quarterback as a freshman doing what he's doing with all that pressure and expectations that come with being a St. James football quarterback, starting quarterback as a freshman. I mean, that's incredible. And you got to give credit to Coach Davis and his staff for bringing those kids along and making them comfortable. Yeah, they had some growing pains early, but the coaching staff and the players, they put them in positions to win games. And um, I think, yeah, maybe, Coach Davis has had a lot of great teams. I ain't gonna lie. Last year's team was good with St. James. He's won a lot at Scotlandville and maybe some other stops in the New Orleans area throughout his coaching career. But considering that, he had a really young team this year and got him to the dome, that's really impressive. And I guess we just have to wait and see what the results going to be on Thursday before we really have a good answer on whether this is his best coaching job, if he can win a state championship, obviously. But it's up there, and he's done a good job. And him and those coachings, they got a really good close knit staff, and they know what they're doing. And it's really been an impressive year for St. James.
When I saw you at the game when St. James played Archbishop Shaw, when I'm walking out, I was telling myself, man, this team got a shot to get back to the dome. I was just saying pretty much they're talented, they're good, they're fast. I said they got a shot to get back to the dome. And here they are.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. We're
Back.
good. We're good. All right. So, and I was saying, they had a shot to get to the job, get back to the dome, and here they are. Before I pass it to George, what are your thoughts about Thursday against Sterlington?
Well, this is another rematch. Last year they played Sterlington in the semifinals and they won. A lot of those players who, young players, played in that game and that run to the state championship last year, making it to the dome. St. James got some really good players. Of course, they got the Jackson kid at quarterback who can make all the throws, short, long distance throws, and he can run and pick up yards if he needs to. They got a really good young running back in Kanai, young King, who, if you don't know about him, you're going to hear about him in the next year or so, maybe even on Thursday at running back. He's breaking ankles all over the field with his
Yeah.
elusiveness. And once he get in the open field, he's gone. He's very strong, young, traditional St. James runner. He got a really good receiver, Jakias Villanova. Kickoff returns. You don't want to kick it to that kid because he can get, if he don't house it, he can get St. James good field position. They got some really good defenders. They're not strong on, they don't have a lot of big Savion Jones type linemen like they did maybe in 2019, but they have a lot of young kids who can step in and make good plays on defense. Jarrell Williams and Gary Wright, really good secondary with some good linebackers. So Sterlington is good too, no lie, but I think St. James, they're going to be ready. They're going to have a good crowd, fan base there. If St. James fans, they're going to party that whole day on Thursday. They're going to be ready. They're going to fire up those kids. I think it's going to be a good game. Personally, I think St. James has the talent to get it done now. All they have to do is go out there and execute and play well. They're familiar with Sterlington, so they played them last year. But you never know. Sometimes you have that revenge factor in Sterlington, like St. James was last year. Not last year, last week against Union.
Right.
It was a redemption for St. James. So, Sterlington might come into this extra fired up. So they can't overlook Sterlington, obviously. I think it's going to be a good game. And if I had to pick a winner, I think, St. James, I like what I've seen the last couple of weeks. And I think they're going to be emotionally prepared to get it done on Thursday.
You talk about St. James partying from morning till whenever they play. And after that, when I was driving to the dome last year, they were outside of Superdome partying before the game even started, man. I was like, wow.
They're going to shut down Poydras. They're going to shut down that little part of the interstate, especially around the games on a Thursday night. Yeah. But there's going to be a lot of traffic getting in there, maybe between 4 or 5 rush hour in New Orleans because those fans. And if you get a chance, go eat because those are some of the best chefs, in South Louisiana
Uh,
from St. James Parish.
mhm.
They're going to tailgate. I've already got offers to go eat gumbo and jambalaya, pastalaya, all kind of ball crabs. So those fans are really dedicated. They're going to pack that crowd, and it's close to Vacherie, so they're gonna have a good representation of black and gold in that Superdome on Thursday.
Definitely. Go ahead, George.
Chris, first of all, thank you for taking the time to joining us here on the Hash It Out Show. It's always good to talk to you, my friend. Um, I think this black and gold has a better chance to win Thursday than the black and gold that plays on Sunday against Washington. I think we can make that assertion. But
Uh, no comment on that. Anything.
okay, we'll leave. Okay, we'll leave that alone. But no,
I
let's
think.
start.
Yeah.
What's that?
I
But
said I think St. James has a better shot to win the black and gold than the actual black and gold on Sunday.
right, the regular tenants of the Superdome, right? Okay. With that said, I just thought we'd start a little light. But let's go back to the game Thursday, last Friday. Union Parish seemingly had control of that game, and with a young team like St. James, and this is where, to me, what was the most impressive comeback of any team this semifinal round. They were down 21 points with a 14-year-old quarterback at home, and they found a way to win. The grow up on this team has been absolutely incredible, and this tells me now. What do you think Levante did? What were you were at the game last week, correct? I think you were
Yeah.
at that game last week. Okay, what were you thinking when Union Parish seemingly had control? You were like, well, did you think St. James had it in them to make that comeback? Because I was at South Plaquemines and following all the games, and of course calling our game, and I was like, wow, they're getting whooped, and whatnot. I was like, I didn't think they had it in them, but you know what? They shut me up hard, man. But what were you thinking when Union Parish had control of that? Seemingly had control of that game.
Well, obviously, if you followed the game, yeah, Union Parish scored 28 points in the first half, but
Hmm.
St. James scored 13 and possibly could have scored 28 too. They had a touchdown call back on a touchdown run by Kanai that I thought
Hmm.
it was questionable. That could have been a touchdown. And then I know St. James also they turned over the ball in their red zone on offensively throughout second quarter. St. James made a lot of mistakes, and you were thinking that if they would find a way to not turn the ball over and put the ball into the end zone. The offense was moving the ball up and down the field, most of the night. I know the quarterback got banged up a little bit, maybe in the third quarter, but he hung in there. That's impressive as a freshman quarterback. But I think that you knew St. James had the weapons on offense to score a lot of points. I thought that if they would protect the ball, they could have scored maybe 50 plus in this game, but they had a lot of points they left on the field. With that said, the key in that game was the defense. The defense had to find a way to get some stops, and also Union Parish, man, they blew some chances. They had a chance they had a pick six, which they took advantage of, but they also missed a interception on maybe in the fourth quarter that if they would have got it would have definitely increased their chances to win the game. So Union Parish, they had some mistakes too, but that game was in Vacherie, and I've covered St. James at least for the last 10, maybe 15 years, and I know I've seen St. James pull off a lot of great comebacks, especially in playoff settings like that. The fans were not going to let them go down without a fight, and that's one thing that those coaches preach. So I think it was a little shocking considering that, the St. James had a lot of young players on the team, but the way that they rallied and they didn't give up, that says a lot about the coaching staff and what they instilled in those players. And once they got the momentum in the fourth quarter, that was it, and they went on that last touchdown drive. And, after Union Parish didn't close the door on them, you knew that if St. James had one more chance, that they were going to make the most of it. And they played excellent football in that fourth quarter, and they took advantage of Union Parish mistakes and got the job done. And but when you're in Bashery, man, those fans are going to make it tough as a packed house,
We
and
we know.
it was a very
We
competitive game, a lot of tempers back
Mhm.
and forth. So I knew St. James was going to fight to the end that night.
Do you think that the schedule that they concocted this year helped them getting to New Orleans? Because there was some real tough opposition, especially the game against Shaw, where I think that was their They were tied at half with Shaw, and then Shaw, with their talent, took over. After that game, I think. Do you feel like St. James had an epiphany and say, you know what, we could play with these boys, but we're not good enough yet. Do you think they grew up in that game? And
Yeah,
then do you think that led them forward?
well, I think they grew up way before that game. Obviously, they like you mentioned, they played a tough schedule. Not just Shaw. Shaw's a great team, and at one point, St. James was holding their own against Shaw until obviously the end. But
Hmm.
they played some really good teams. They played Terrebonne, which is a really good 5A team. I know they played St. Charles. Um, they played some other really good teams early in the schedule that helped those young players get their feet wet and get them accustomed to what they were going to face in the playoffs. And one thing St. James does not do, they're not afraid to schedule big teams. And that was a really one thing I remember talking to Coach Davis about after that Shaw game. Obviously, there was a lot of disappointment that Shaw blew him out. I think the final score was a little maybe 14.
35-14.
Yeah. I talked to Coach Davis and a lot of fans. I looked on social media. A lot of fans were really upset and thinking that, oh man, we're going to be bad. We're going to be bad. But I asked Coach Davis, and if you go on my YouTube, you can look up that interview after that game. I asked him, how do you think this experience will help these young players? And he remained confident. He's like, okay, well, we're going to build from this. We're going to continue to grow. We're going to come back and we're going to continue to develop. They did just that. It wasn't a time to push the panic button, but there had to be some kind of growing exposure for those young players. So they are battle tested, and you even Union Parish, to beat a team like Union Parish is very hard. I mean, they have a really good running game. Yeah. Uh,
Hmm.
so, I think, those earlier season experiences definitely help them now, and they're not going to be afraid to play Union Parish or Sterlington. They're going to be ready to go. So, I think that this team definitely grew up every week of the season, and
Hmm.
they deserve to be the number one seed, and they also deserve to be where they are now, and they have a lot of great players coming back, like someone just mentioned, in comments. A lot of all these young freshmen and sophomores, they're going to be right back. So expect to see St. James here the next couple of years, probably.
And you talk about the tailgating, they got all day to do it because the game is at 7 o'clock Thursday night. So they're gonna be good and ready to rock and roll. Um, I gotta say this about the quarterback Jackson. There are 14-year-olds that don't mature like they're just kids, right? They're just they a mistake happens and they start getting a little despondent. But I gotta say about this young man against the defending state champions in your house, down big, he found a way to lead that team back. I mean, yeah, there were plays that helped, but his leadership, his moxie for a 14-year-old is extremely impressive to me. Talk about him, and what do you see from him going forward off of a game like last Friday night? What do you see from him going forward? Not just for the championship game Thursday, but into his sophomore, junior, and senior year. I feel like this kid's got a lot to give, and he's shown you, peaks, not a lot of valleys. But I feel like he's got a lot more to go.
Yeah, I agree. I remember we were talking with you guys before the season about St. James, and one of the key questions was the quarterback play. How would the new starter adjust quickly? And I think he's over exceeded expectations. You watch the film. I've seen him play a couple times this year. I know, the Shaw game, he struggled maybe a little at some times. When he played against Terrebonne, they had a chance to win that game. I remember him throwing similar situation like they faced against Union Parish. They needed a last touchdown drive to win the game. And I remember him throwing this incredible pass to Jakias Villanova. And, it was about like 50, 60 yards, and it was right on the money. St. James, it appeared to win the game for St. James, but there was a questionable flag on the play with an eligible man downfield that took it away and helped Terrebonne win that game. But I think at that point, I was like, yeah, this kid is for real. He can step up and make throws and tough situations, and he's just a freshman. He's getting coached pretty good. The thing I like you say, his confidence is just not like a freshman would be. That's the main thing. A lot of freshmen would get in that situation and they would probably get scared or they'll freeze up. But for him, it's always let's go, let's go, let's keep going. He's clapping his hands, he's encouraging his teammates. A lot of those characteristics I saw in Lowell Narcisse when he was a freshman quarterback and he led St. James to a playoff run back in his freshman year. maybe 5-10 years ago. He reminds me so much of Junior, and I think he's going to keep growing. St. James has a lot of exposure, a lot of cameras on him, so a lot of college coaches are going to definitely start showing a lot of interest in him if he continues to grow and get bigger. He's just a freshman, man, but he acts like he's 17 years old. So I think the next couple of years he's going to continue to grow, and St. James have to feel really good to have a lot of great young players coming back. And it's great that when you could throw a freshman in the fire and see them respond like they are. Um, we still got to wait and see what he's going to do Thursday, and then win or lose, I think the future is bright if he can stay healthy and continue to grow the next 2-3 years for St. James.
And the
George,
story,
George,
yeah,
we're gonna go ahead and shift to Edie White right quick.
okay.
Shift to Edie White.
Uh, Okay, let's talk about the Cardinals because they play Archbishop Shaw Friday night. And this is a program, Chris, that has been on the crescendo, has been on the precipice of getting here. They finally broke through with an emphatic win over a Wampus Cat team, Leesville, the Wampus Cats, who's a traditional team that makes deep playoff runs. Edie White, Kyle has seen, talk about the coaching job he's done and just talk about the physicality of this football team and what they've been this year.
Well, Edie White is one of those teams that has always been good. I've been covering sports here for maybe 20 something years, and I can't remember a losing season for Edie White. And the most impressive thing is the consistency with the coaching staff. A lot of schools may have coaching changes here and there, but a lot of those Coach Stein has been there for a while. He has a coaching staff that has for the most part stayed the same, and the players grew up in that system, so they know Edie White football. They know the fundamentals. They know what they want to do on every Friday night. You go get the same Edie White team. You go get a physical team that's big on the offensive and defensive lines. They go beat you up physically. They go run the ball. They may play what you call a boring style of football, but this year they've opened it up. They've shown that they can throw the ball down the field too, which helped them beat Vanderbilt. Last week, a touchdown pass at the end. So Edie White, yeah, they're traditional, but they can also, open it up when they need to. In the defense, like you said, last week what they did against Ford, the Leesville running back was pretty impressive, and I think nobody's been able to slow that guy down like Edie White did last week. Even though he still had a good chunk of yardage, but they pretty much held him in check for 3.5 quarters. So Edie White's gonna, they're traditional. They're not gonna. There's no surprises with Edie White, but you have for Shaw, and they got good coaches at Shaw too. No, I mean, you already know about Shaw. I'm quite sure that's gonna be
We
a really
do.
good game. To beat a team like Edie White, you have to try to exploit some weaknesses, and you got to be able to, throw the ball down the field. You got to be able to score and get up on the scoreboard and make Edie White have to, catch up to you. But if Edie White jumps out to the lead, it's going to be really tough to come back against a team that runs the
Mhm.
ball, fundamentally sound. They don't turn over the ball pretty much. So a good Edie White team. They got a lot of good players, and Grant Barbera, the quarterback, has played top notch lately. Good running back. Offensive line, man, is so big, man. You're really going to have to. Uh, this game is going to be determined by who wins the trenches, basically. I know Shaw has some weapons that maybe can, get the ball down the field, but it's going to be determined by, who's going to control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball here. And, it's going to be fun to watch. I mean, if you're expecting a hard hitting physical game, this is going to be a game that you definitely want to check in on Friday.
It's the first game on Friday at 12 o'clock kickoff, so that's going to be interesting in and of itself. To play that game at 12 o'clock. But and you hit it on the head. For Edie White to win this, they cannot let Shaw get in front of them because look, they're predominant, like you mentioned, they're predominantly run. They have opened it up a little bit, but their identity is running. They are run team oriented first. What is that offense? Is it the wing team or is it the veer?
They do,
That
yeah,
they
a similar version to like
Yeah,
they throw
similar.
Veer and um one of they played a good schedule this year. I'm gonna go back to when they played Letcher. Letcher was a team similar, I think, to Shaw, maybe with some athletes all over the field. That was a very close game at Letcher, and it was a challenge for Edie White. I mean, obviously when they playing those so many explosive playmakers, but they held their own. They did have some turnovers, so The key for Edie White in this game, obviously, they have to play fundamentally sound again. They can't turn the ball over. Uh, they're going to have to make Shaw play their type of game, basically, physical running, keeping Shaw's offense off the field, I guess, and controlling the time. That's going to be key for Edie White. But also, they can throw the ball down the field, and I've seen them at times when they needed to throw, they put it down the field with Ben Guidry as a receiver. Grant Barbera, don't underestimate him. This is his first year as a starter, but he is very confident. He understands the system. So, and he's playing behind a good offensive line too. So, it's gonna be a fun game to watch. I really don't know who's gonna win, but I guess since I've been watching Edie White all week, I'm gonna root for the Cardinals because I know that one of these guys are probably rooting for Shaw right now. I'm just
You're talking to him, not me. Hey,
I'm gonna hope that Edie White can bring her the home here to Thibodeau, but it's gonna be a good game, man. And Edie White, and Shaw. I have a lot of respect for Coach Hank too. I've known him for quite some time. He's a legend of Louisiana football.
oh, he is.
He's gonna have his team ready to play too. So, but for Edie White, they've been on. They 2 years ago they played U High. U High had a lot of talent, and they fought hard in that game. And they almost pulled it off. Edie White has just always been right there, but not able to get it done. They haven't won a state championship since 1969. It's been a long time, and if they are able to win this game on Friday, it's going to be a huge celebration in Thibodeau because,
Of course it is.
they've waited a long time for a state championship. So, I think, they're going to be fired up. They're going to be ready to play. And I hope Shaw's fired up, ready to play because if they're not, Edie White is probably going to win it they're going to party like 1969.
Mhm. Oh, well, 1999 if you're a Prince fan, but that's another song. Um, you know, what do you, if you're Kyle Lassine, what are you telling your team in advance of this game? You see Hank Sr. on the other sideline, who has been here numerous times, not just with Shaw. He got there with Ponchatoula a few years ago, and they lost. Got there with Shaw twice? No, twice, damn it? Four times. Okay. Well, Kyle's never been to the Dome. This is his first foray into New Orleans. What do you think Kyle Lassine is thinking right now, going against a guy like Tierney? Give me a key component of what Edie White's going to have to do to win this football game. And that's my last question, JB, before I flip it to you.
Well, I've known Coach Lassine for a long time, and one thing about him, he's very spiritual. He's very, he's very strong when it comes to his faith and his beliefs. And I know they practice that a lot at Edie White. They preach that every day to those players. And I've seen them. There are times where I go into games thinking, man, there's no way Edie White's going to beat these guys. When people walk into the stands, they'd be like, that's Edie White. But once that game starts, man, those kids are fighting. They're flying all over the field. You think those kids, they're not fast enough, but man, somehow they make plays. He's definitely going to tell his players, that they can win this game on Friday. They have to have their faith. They're going to, there's Edie White's not a team that's not going to question whether they can beat Shaw. They're gonna believe that they can beat Shaw. They're going to go out there and they're going to try to prove that they can beat Shaw. You don't have to question their fate, because they're going to be really strong in their belief that they can win this game on Friday, no matter who they play. They could play Edna Carr, they could play Zachary, they could play Rustin or whoever. They're still going to go out there and they're going to fight, and if they win, yeah, it'd be great. But if they lose, they're going to give it their all. So I know Coach Lassine is going to have his guys fired up and ready to play. There's no question about that. I don't know exactly how he's going to say it because sometimes, he has his own way of saying things. But I can just say from being around him over the years, he's got something up his sleeve that's going to make those players believe that they can win this game on Friday, and he's going to make them want to, go through a wall if they have to just to get it done. So I can't wait to see what they do. And like I say, they've been in this position before. Maybe not with these players, but these coaches and these fans, they've been in this championship environment before. So this is nothing new to them. They just got to go out there for 4 quarters and get it done. And I think Coach Lassine is going to share that message with his players before they take the field in the Superdome on Friday, because they know they live, let's get one game at a time. It's always about the next game, and the next game right now is the state championship. So all minds are on beating Shaw this Friday and getting that championship for the first time since 1969.
You spoke about how Edie White was able to contain Xavier Ford. Well, here comes Jasper Parker. Talk about the Edie White's defense and some of the defensive players that they have getting ready for this matchup with trying to stop now Jasper Parker.
Mhm. And Edie White traditionally they've been a strong defensive team. That's a credit to defensive coordinator Chris Bergeron, who's been there for a long time, and his defensive staff. Man, it's very one of the talking to opposing coaches. The hardest thing about preparing for Edie White is they're so fundamentally sound. It's very those coaches have their players ready to go. They have a scheme, they have a system that's in place. They prepare hard throughout the week, to get ready for any opponent, and whether it's an explosive team like Letcher or whether it's a run dominant team like a Jesuit or something like that. But they have some really good defensive players, and especially some key defensive players. Luke Zerain at defensive back, he's all over the field. He's number 4, so keep your eye on him. Some other guys like Luke Trotty and Nate Thompson, Jack Treesh at linebackers. These are some physical, big, strong, tall guys. They may not have the speed like maybe some of those explosive weapons for Shaw do, but I think that they're going to have a game plan, to contain him as much as they can, and not give up the big deep play, or try to clog those holes so Shaw's running backs can't get through. But I think defensively, Coach Bergeron is going to have a scheme ready to go. I don't know exactly what the scheme's going to be yet, but I know from previously watching Edie White play against explosive teams, even when they played Letcher this year, they were able to get off the field sometimes. And Letcher is a really good team with a lot of good weapons, similar to Shaw. So I have a good feeling that Edie White, they know who all those key players for the Parker kid. They got in there, go blue, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, they know who he is, and Edie White players, they may not have the speed, but they do have the smarts. They study film, and they're going to be physical. So it's going to be a hard hitting game. Their defense is really they're probably the best tackling team I've seen around here. Definitely. They don't miss tackles a lot. Like you said last week with the Ford kid, and the week before with Jalen Coleman from Vanderbilt. Even though Jalen Coleman was able to run, sometimes they made it hard for Vanderbilt's offense to move the ball. So I think it's gonna be. I think Edie White's defense. That's one of their bread and butter. They're gonna. It's very rare to see Edie White give up a lot of points. I mean, I can't remember the last time they've given up maybe 30, 40 plus points in a game. So if the key is going to be, like I said, it's going to be up front. If Edie White can control the line of scrimmage, and get some turnovers and get off the field, let Shaw's offense stay off the field, obviously, and control the ball with their run game. That's going to be the game plan for Edie White. Play ball control, I guess, and keep those weapons on the sideline. But I'm looking forward to this game. It's gonna be crazy. And like St. James, man, those Edie White fans, they're gonna pack that stands. And I remember if you were in Cajun Field in 2021, they had that whole home side of Cajun Field packed up with Edie White fans. It was all red. I think I haven't seen that much red. Even at UL Lafayette games, I haven't seen that much red on that bottom tier. Those Edie White fans are going to be there. They're going to be loud and they're going to be crazy. I'm telling you. I mean, those are two of our most passionate fan bases here in the Bayou area. So it's going to be a fun atmosphere, and I look forward to seeing a good game. Hopefully, it goes down to the wire. And for my own reasons, I want to see Edie White finally get that ring. But Shaw's a good team too. I think it's going to be a great game.
Last question. Will you be at the Superdome Thursday and Friday to see St. James and Edie White?
You guys want me to be there?
Of course.
I think if I'm not there, I'm gonna hear from a lot of fans around here. I mean, a lot of fans. I've been doing this for a long time. A lot of fans, even though I'm not a daily newspaper reporter anymore, I still go to the games and stuff. I still do some reporting on the side, but a lot of fans, they expect me to be the players too. They expect me to be there. So, yes, I'll answer your question. I will be there on Thursday and Friday, taking it all in and watching both of those games. And I'll be on the sidelines roaming around like I usually be.
Definitely, man. We'll be there, and can't wait to see you. And when it comes to Edie White and Shaw, one of us gonna have some bragging rights after the game. So we'll see when that happens. But
Yeah, this could be a good game. I kind of expected those two teams to match up, especially with U High following out the bracket.
yeah,
Even if Edie White would have had to play U High, I think that would have been a great game too. I mean, who knows how that would have went? But hey, I guess we can just debate that another day. But I think these two teams, I think a lot of people had a feeling this was going to be the state championship game. And also the St. James Sterlington. I think a lot of people may have thought that would have been the state championship game too. So we just got to see who toughs it out and gets that job done in four quarters, maybe overtime too.
maybe so. We'll see. Chris Singleton, our good friend, man. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you Thursday and Friday inside the Caesar Superdome.
All righty, and I'll probably be there on Sunday too. So you never know. I might make an appearance at the Saints game also.
Well, there you go, then. Chris Singleton, thank you, my friend.
All righty, guys.
All right, Chris.
All right, Chris Singleton giving us the updates, the news about St. James and Edie White. I'll let you go. Your thoughts about Edie White.
Look, I have all the respect in the world for that group. Those kids have fought, they have battled, they have continued to work, and here they are. The opportunity is in front of them. 48 minutes from a title. But in front of them is a team that has been hungry, is as hungry as them, and that's Shaw. They have not won a title since 1987. 1987, that is 37 years.
For sure, yeah.
37 years for
Yes.
sure. And, you know, I just look forward to the coaching matchup with Hank Tierney and Kyle Lassine. Kyle Lassine is a very good football coach. Make no mistake about it. Anybody who says, who even intimates otherwise, you know what I wish for that these games were the way they were scheduled. See, St. James is going to close the show on Thursday, right?
That's correct.
Edie White will start things off on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we would have a situation where, excuse me, oh wow, where what was it? The year Landry Walker won the title. Remember that when Carr came off the field and Landry Walker came on.
Yeah.
Something similar. St. James would go first, and then Edie White would go after them. So if they were playing on the same day, that would have been okay, Troy. You could give me 25 at the show. I would absolutely take that in a heartbeat, but I don't bet high school. Um, can you imagine if St. James and Edie White were playing on the same day, Jared, and St. James comes off the field? If let's say they win their title against Sterlington, then they see Edie White coming on, and we have a similar moment like Carr and Landry Walker back in 2016. Was it 16?
2016, yeah.
Right, the year after Eric got smacked around in the dome. I mean, I still don't want to talk about that.
Bet you
That
don't.
one drive killed it, but que sera, sera. But look, this is going to be a fascinating game. I think a key component, and I was trying to get Chris and to say it that Edie White better get in front of Shaw if they're going to win it, because then they could operate that run offense, that predominant run offense on Shaw. If they fall behind, Jared, it could be a very problematic situation because Shaw's got athletes. We know this. Jasper Parker is a Division 1 recruit. How many D1 recruits does Edie White have?
I don't think any.
I don't think any. And that's not an indictment. I don't mean it to sound like an indictment. I just feel like we're going to pick the all 8 games tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to pick all 8 championship games tomorrow night. Stay tuned on the Hash It Out show for that. One of us is going to win the playoff title. The champ is tied, me and you. And VK made a huge run at us last week. He's 1 game back. So lots to decide. And it's going to be interesting to see where the mindsets are when we pick the games tomorrow night. I
Let
can't
me
wait.
let me say this on when it comes to St. James. Sterlington's a good team.
They
But
are.
I really think they're about to meet up with the fastest team that they're going to see all year. And can I call Kanai Young or can I call Young? It's definitely KKY, his initials.
Yeah,
And Jakias Villanova.
Jackson.
Oh man, these two guys here are electric. And if
Hmm.
they get the ball in their hands,
Every touch they could score.
they can score every time, man.
Yep.
Every time. So you got a game plan not just for one, not
No.
just for two, but also Jaquan Jackson. You got a game plan for him also, the quarterback.
14 years old, Jared. He's 14,
He's
and he's
14
doing this.
and he's very mature for his age.
Hmm.
Very
Now,
mature.
I want to throw this scenario into the mix. Last week, what was the story? St. James was looking for catchback on Union Parish, right?
Mhm.
Now, let's fast forward to this week. Who's looking for revenge? Sterlington
Sterling.
lost
Yeah.
in the semifinals to this group last year
Yeah.
to St. James at Vacherie. Now, it's still a long, long trip for those guys to get down here, but St. James has got to go from Vacherie to New Orleans. That's not a bad trip.
No.
Sterlington's looking for catchback. I wonder what Levante Davis is going to tell his team. Hey, look, we were looking for revenge on Union Parish. Best believe those guys are looking to get the ultimate catchback, Sterlington, to win against St. James and deny the Wildcats a title. They are absolutely ready to roll. I feel like, though, in past history, Jared, and I don't know what past history means in relation to Thursday, Sterlington has had issues with teams that can run, that can fly.
Mhm.
The teams that can get you out in space, they are predominantly they are a power minded football team. This is a team that can run it, they can ground and pound into the dirt. But when they play teams that could get you out there and especially in that carpet on the Superdome, it could be a very big difference maker. Am I leaning St. James? I'm not saying that. I mean, I'm just putting key components. That's what we're doing. We're putting key components into this game. Sterlington's past history tells you they're going to have problems with speed. And KKY, because I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, I don't want to butcher it. Um, that young man, I mean, look, they are fast. Every time they can touch the ball, they can score from anywhere on the field. And Jackson, the quarterback, you find me a 14-year-old that has done what he's done. You can't. Um,
Well,
does the game say?
if we go back, Luke Delafield, Hunter
Yeah,
Soto.
Josh Booty, Ethan Odo, yeah, something like that. Jesuit, yeah, I get that. I mean, but it's crazy is that last one out of Vacherie flipped the switch, right? Because it's going to be and it's at night, seven
Night game,
o'clock.
7 o'clock.
That I'm telling you, at the beginning of the show, I said the record's going down, and St. James is going to be one of the main cogs of why they are bringing everybody. Everybody's coming, and South Plaquemine is playing right before them. They're going to pack that place too,
We gonna
dude. The
see.
record's going. I'm telling you, the record's going down.
We're going to see. We're going to see the records going down or not. But,
That it is.
ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we return, we will be joined by Sinler Sports' very own Lamar Primetime Gafford right here on the Hash It Out Show.
Hi, I'm Erica Randolph, head coach of the Hahnville Tigers boys basketball team, and you are watching the
I'm Coach Ramirez L. Page, the head football coach at John F. Kennedy High School, and you watching the.
Are you in need of a new windshield? Leo Autoglass can help. For 20 years, Leo Autoglass have been servicing the New Orleans area with windshield replacement and auto glass repair. Give them a call today, 504-301-8353. Did you experience storm damage from Hurricane Francine? Barretto Home Solutions can help. You can give them a call at 504-940-7552.
And we are back. I'm your host, JB the Sports Guy, joined by George Peppers. Joining us now, you can catch him on Sinler Sports, covering Central Louisiana, all sports Central Louisiana. We got the one, the only, the one they call Prime Time, Lamar Gafford. My friend, what's going on?
What's good, y'all?
Oh man, state championship week, man. That's what's good, man. The final week of high school football here in Louisiana.
You already know, man. It's always one of the most fabulous times of the year. I've already got my substitute teacher ready for to cover my classes and everything. I can't wait to get down there. I'm gonna be down there for all 3 days, so I'm excited for it. Let's go out there and get it.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Lamar here for all 3 days, man. This we're gonna have some
Yep.
fun. Chris, Singleton coming down, Lamar coming down. I got a bunch of friends coming down. It's gonna be good. But Lamar, let's get right into it. The Alexandria Trojans are back in the championship for the first time since COVID year 2020. Tell us a little bit about Alexandria and Coach Thomas Bachman to get back to this point this year.
Well, so far, it's been a very good season for Ash. I mean, they have played an incredible schedule overall, where they played a lot of former state championship teams. That's one of the things that they really beefed up their schedule in this year, where they started off the season facing against Westphal, Union, Destrehan, also Opelousas, and then Manny, and they felt like that was going to be one of the things that they were going to do in order to just to try to get them there, and that's the most important part. I mean, they had to face against a very tough non-district schedule. Then their district that they played against in District 5A, where now you swap out West Washita now for a perennial power in Neville, and of course this run that they've had after just beating John Curtis in the semifinals. So that they have had themselves a very good team so far, a resilient team so far, and it kind of started off from last year where they played against Edna Carr. They played against them in the quarterfinals, had a very close battle against them, and that has kind of been the mindset of this team this year. Just that they know that they were so close to getting down there to the dome, and this year they got the opportunity to do that. And I think it pretty much starts off with JT Lindsay. They're the guy that's the running back now for them, who's also signed to LSU. He never wavered in that case right there, and he's continued to put up big game after big game after big game for him. So that's going to be something to see, and also having him out there in the grandest stage.
Tell you what, man, before the season started, a lot of people talked about, not Neville, excuse me, Alexandria being a team that can get to the dome. So they beat Destrehan, and I was like, okay, they beat them, but Destrehan had injuries. And then they beat Ruston, and I was like, okay. But the beatdown they put on Neville, then I was like, okay, this team probably going to the dome for real. Because I had Neville, getting to the dome in their division and
Class.
non-select. But the way Alexandria played against Neville and put that beat down on them, I was sold then like, yo, this team here is probably going to the dome.
Absolutely, and it's just been one thing that a lot of people have been thinking about pretty much ever since I guess the West Monroe game that they had in district play. Obviously, the head coaches, they knew that they were going to probably get the chance to get down to the dome for sure, but I think that's when it turned the heads of a lot of people in Alexandria that this team might really have a chance of doing that this season, and the way that they played against West Monroe, came at home in that one, played them for the 45-35 game. That was one big test for them. I think the Ruston game turned a lot more heads in everybody as well, beating a team that just has, got an opportunity to win a championship as is back there in the dome this year. And then I think the Neville game also really turned a lot of people's heads, that really made people really got people believing here that, oh yeah, this is a team that can really believe, even across the state and everything. And like you said, you just have a bunch of great players. The offense that they have so far this season, with Lindsay, also with other receivers like Darius Washington, and you have great players there, and of course their quarterback situation with Carson Sellers. He's been one of the better sophomore quarterbacks for them this season. It's just been amazing for them. And of course, their defense, even though they did graduate a good bit of defense last season, this is a hungry defense here that has some stars, and that can actually come about for the next couple of years.
You speak of their defense, and that's where I was going to next. Edna Carr has explosive players at every position, quarterback, running back, and then the three-headed monster at wide receiver with Francis, I'm sorry, going to LSU, Oliver Mitchell going to Tulane, and then to me, the best receiver on the team this season, Dejon Smith, who's going to Louisiana Tech. Does Alexandria have the players to match up with these athletes? And I'm not going to say stop them, but at least contain them.
There's a bit of a chance, and I think they do have some cornerbacks out there that can really be able to do that. Now, maybe they might have not have been as skilled as the ones that they've had last year, but they have done a solid job in really containing some of the teams. They did a very good job against Evangel, for example, in getting pressure, and I think that's another thing that they could possibly be able to try to do too. How much pressure can they get against Carr? Because having to face against a guy like John Johnson, this is probably going to be the most dynamic quarterback that they've had seen all year. And so, can they get some pressure on him? And if they can get some pressure on him, or if they can't get some pressure on him, how can they do against the Edna Card receivers? And like you said, I mean, this is a team that has a lot of athletes, and you're not going to be able to really slow them down easily, but can you contain them? That's the most important part, and I think they're going to be up for the challenge for it.
George Peppers.
Well, Lamar, first off, thank you once again for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you on our show. And you're the real prime time, unlike the guy at Colorado. So it's just being messy. I just need his son to be a giant. That's all I need. Shador Sanders, a New York
Mhm.
Giant. Gotta happen. Anyway, let's talk. Let's continue on Alexandria. Um, they have answered every test this year. Jared, you pointed it out pyramidically. They have answered every test. John Curtis fans last week were chomping about, well, if we don't make a million mistakes, we win the game, and Alexandria is not coming to New Orleans. They were lamenting the fact that Curtis made a ton of mistakes. And yeah, there were errors on their part. But credit Alexandria for what they've done this year. I mean, undefeated. Why should they be intimidated by Edna Carr when they have answered every test this year?
Right, exactly. And I think, like you said, I mean, facing against a very good Curtis team here. And like you said, when you get down to the semifinals, no bad teams. Absolutely no
Everybody's
bad
good.
teams.
Hmm.
Everybody is really good. And I think the one thing that really turned that game was, you know, you score a touchdown with a minute to go before the first half, and then Curtis muffs the punt, and then of course you get another touchdown right back in there. It's just an avalanche right then and there. But like
Hmm.
you said, I mean, playing you credit all season long. They've answered all the challenges where a lot of people probably had doubted them in this case here, where a lot of people are probably like, oh well, Central Louisiana team, they're gonna start off hot. Next thing you know, they're gonna fade pretty much at the end and everything else like that. But like I said, answered all the challenges. And I think the one thing I told Coach Bachman yesterday when I got a chance to beat up with him was that 11 of the 13 opponents they played this season have won state championships over the last 20 years. If you want to take it back to the last 10 years, 9 of the last 13. And so I think um, getting the chance to play quality programs, it makes you become a quality program in its own right. Even if you win or lose those games, that experience is invaluable right then and there. And so like you said, you just continue to play great programs, you learn from great programs, you become a great programmer yourself, and that's what they've done so far this season.
And Edna Carr last week had to go to the wire against Baton Rouge Catholic. 21-19 got pushed very hard in that game. Now they see a different dynamic and offense equally as explosive as them. I think at first glance, Lamar, at first glance, I feel like this could be a very high scoring football game. It is the first game on Saturday. I feel like both teams can go north of 30, maybe 40. That's how explosive these teams are. And it's not to indict the defense because Alexandria's defense is good, as is Edna Carr's. I just think there's too much offensive talent to make me think this is a low scoring game. Am I stabbing here, or is there some validity to this?
I agree with you, George. I mean, I think for anybody that might be a betting expert in this one, take the over for sure because there's just so
Uh,
many athletes out there on the field. I just and credit to the John Curtis defense for being able to really hold Ash down to their season average right then and there because for most of the games
mhm.
this season, Ash was able to really get up there to 40 points in most of their ball games. And it's just because of the type of offense that they play and also with the defense that they have. So I really think that this game can get to first team that probably scores 30, maybe even 35, possibly has a good chance of possibly winning the ball game.
We talk about their schedule, and the one game that really, I mean, a lot of games caught my eye from this Alexandria team, but what they did to Evangel in the playoffs, no one's done that to him. A running clock after halftime? An Evangel team that has had the propensity to be an offensive juggernaut. Yeah, they've had some lean years, but they got a good quarterback in Peyton Houston. And Alexandria only gave up 6 points in that game, and it was a running clock. No one does that to Evangel. I've not seen a team do that to them, and they did. That to me was an eye opener. One of the eye openers. Now, obviously, what they did Rustin, what they did Neville, what they did Destrehan, and then what they did Curtis. Now it's Carr. But talk about let's focus now to Central Louisiana and the year that they've had. Obviously, Alexandria is going to carry the mantra on Saturday, but let's give a shout out to the team that almost got there, and that's the Bunky Panthers. They got to the semifinals, got out to a 16-0 lead against Dunham, and then Elijah Heyman went to work, and that was that. But talk about the progression of Central Louisiana football, and now you have a team that absolutely has a big, big chance to win a state title this weekend. Because Senlaw for the longest, Lamar, was not good. Let's be honest. Not good. But now you've got programs that are coming up. Bunky's on the come up. We made a semifinal. Alexandria's in a dome. Talk about the progression of Senma football.
Yeah, absolutely. And I knew you were going to mention Bunky there. And if they had an
I had to.
incredible season
I had
alone,
to, baby.
I know you had to. I know you had to. But they had an incredible
Hmm.
season along. And of course, shout out to Jimmy Hillman right then and there
Yep.
for being able to really revitalize that Bunky program. And he did an amazing job this season. Where I even got a chance to see them play in the regional round when they played against A Meat and really shut them down there. But they really believe there. Dylan Compton, great season by him. Kyle Johnson, big home run hitter that they have. And of course, they have a
Hmm.
great defense. But also the other teams there, too. Like, you have a Leesville, Xavier Ford, who just broke the single season record, say that five
Hmm.
times fast, for touchdowns and also rushing yards. And then, of course, the Gina Giants, where a lot of people didn't even expect them to probably be right back into the semifinals after losing Zary Jones, but then kind of retooling, revamping with the team that they had from last season and really getting there. I think Sinlot's on the up and up, to be honest with you. And of course, you have a lot of great coaches there that are willing to invest in the kids and that are willing to put them in the best situations right then and there. You see it happen with the 7-on-7s during the off season. You see it happen with the progression during the off season, especially spring practice, summer practices now, where these teams are starting to invest more into the football field where it's like, okay, hey, we can actually do that as well. And I think it's going to only continue to grow where you have coaches that are going to want to continue to do their best. Even, coaches like Peabody's Harry Coleman. I know they had a tough year this year, but he's put in the insight and instilling right there that he really wants what's the best for his team and really wants what's the best for the program and everything else like that. As long as iron sharpens iron, and as long as I guess they could probably see here that okay, well, Ash is doing this, and and Leesville's doing this, and Bunky had a great year, and now Gina's becoming a continuous program here and there. Hey, what can we do in order to get to that point then and there? And I think that's really going to help out a whole lot.
If you're Alexandria, how do you defend Edna Carr and that triumvirate of receivers and and the quarterback Johnson? If you're Coach Bachman, put yourself in his shoes. Schematically, how do you defend that monster? Because that Alexandria defense is very talented, but I don't know if they've seen a team that can get it like Edna Carr.
Pray. That might be the one thing right then and there. Pray. But I
Mm-hmm.
think I feel very confident in knowing that some of the guys here on defense, especially their defensive coordinator Josh Mercer, I'm pretty sure that he's cooking up a scheme right then and there. I mean, they're probably looking tirelessly of how they're going to do and what they're going to do. I got to give a shout out to Xavier White, their linebacker, who's a junior this season, but he's really made some big plays in crucial moments in the fourth quarter of ball games, especially against West Monroe and against Ruston, that really helped preserve the perfect season so far for Ash. And if he can have himself a big game on this stage as well, I think he can really turn a lot of heads and really get his recruitment going as well. He might not be, a lot of people may not be talking about him right now, but he's definitely been one of the guys that has really stepped up this season and has really progressed this season. And I'm really looking forward to him having a pretty solid game.
I expect fireworks in this game, and it's the first game on Saturday. Get there early, as I think Alexandria is going to be trekking their way to New Orleans. There's going to be a lot of people coming for the Trojans. I think it's their first time here, Lamar. But Thomas Bachman's been here. He's won championships. How much of that experience do you think is going to help Alexandria manage the moment?
I think that's going to be helpful. And I got a chance to even ask him about that there. And he's not thinking too far ahead, obviously,
Mm-mm.
of anything. But I think having a coach like that has not just only played the dome, but also been an assistant coach in the dome as well. That's the experience right there that's going to really help them out a whole lot. And I think also what probably is going to help them out in that situation there too, where I believe that maybe his dad would probably be on the sidelines as well too, John Bachman Sr., who also has
Mm-hmm.
won himself a couple of state championships.
She
I know
has.
getting there when he at Evangel and also getting there at Calvary. So
Mm-hmm.
getting a chance to listen to those two guys there and probably, talking to the team, settling down the nerves. Because I can only imagine that right now they're probably thinking about, okay, they're about to play the biggest game of their life. And then, of course, when they get down there when they get on that turf on that Saturday, probably about 11 a.m. or probably about at noon, once the national anthem starts hitting, they're gonna feel that pressure right then and there. And I think having a guy like that, that's gonna calm them down a good bit.
Last question from me before I go back to JB. A lot of talent is going to be on that field Saturday, card Alexandria. If you had to pick one player out of the both teams, who you got as the
Mm.
top player? If you had to start your team with one player off both
Woo.
teams with incredible talent, who you taking?
Man, a lot of great players there. A lot of great players.
Yes.
Hey, look,
Hmm.
John Johnson definitely he's going to be one of those guys I feel like for sure. Obviously, because of course, having a quarterback that can be a very good dual threat right then and there, that really changes things a lot for me. And of course, you have to defend the pass and the run with him. And I think that's going to be something to really look for. But I also got to say JT Lindsay. Like, I think that the way that he has been a workhorse running back this season and he has been the guy that's just like, all right, I'll get the ball 30, 35, 40 times a ball game and constantly getting 200 yards every single night, especially when they needed him to do that. I definitely think that he's going to be an important cog and an important factor in this game too. He may not get 200 against Carr. I know Carr is going to be really, really talented and really going to be able to stop him in that case there. But if he can get close to that, I think if let's just even say he could get 100, maybe even 150 or something else like that, and probably get 2 touchdowns. His presence will definitely be felt.
Lamar, I will get you out of here with this last question, and it's about the Peabody Warhorses. What were your thoughts when Peabody was ranked 24th in Division Two Select once all the games were done, Friday and Saturday, and then you wake up Sunday morning and you see that the power rankings were redone, and that Peabody had dropped to 25th and U High was reinstated. What were your thoughts about that?
I felt bad for them. I mean, I really did feel bad for them, and I think even when I saw Coach Coleman's Facebook post that was kind of got viral out there a little bit, it made me feel bad for them in all that case. And I know a lot of people are probably going to say, "Well, don't be a 2-8 team," and blah 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 blah. But the point is, though, they did just enough to get there, and I think that's the number one thing to think of. I don't care if they were 2-8. I don't care if they were 1-9. I don't care if they were 0-10. I don't even care if they were 10-0. If you did just enough to get there, I just don't think that your spot should be taken right then and there at that point. And so, I know he tried to probably battle through it with the litigation and everything himself too. I don't know what exactly what he did there in that case there, but I felt bad for those kids honestly because for example, a guy like T.J. Hullaby, their top receiver there, who just gained himself a McNeese offer. A lot of people that could have been one more chance of him getting some actual game film that maybe some other college scouts could have given the chance to, probably, offer them another scholarship right then and there. So I know it's tough. Yeah, it sucks. Somebody has to get there in that point, but you know, with it being in my area, I definitely feel like it feels like, you know, you have a kid and everything else like that, and you want your kid to do well, and unfortunately, they do everything right, and unfortunately, they just the last person out, and it sucks. It hurts and everything else like that. I know some of those kids personally, and I just hate that their opportunity got snatched up like that. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. People would tell me the same thing. Well, they should have went 2-8. I said, hold on. I don't hear nothing about 2-8. We have a system called Power Points, Power Rankings, and they were ranked in the top 24, meaning they earned that spot. And that spot got ripped away from them Sunday morning when Coach Coleman probably talked to his kids already on a Friday or Saturday saying, hey, we're going to have film Sunday, get ready for practice on Monday. We're going to be playing whoever. And then to wake up and see that was gone, I felt bad for Coach Coleman too. I mean, and then U High loses their case, and Peabody
Hmm.
still is sitting out, and I felt bad for him totally, man. I wish something could have been done to where they were able to play a playoff game.
Absolutely. And I think that's just one of those things that he probably might have been able to kind of spin it a little bit there as a life lesson right then and there
Yeah,
that just, don't, this is not the end. This is not the end of everything else like that. Like you said, some of the kids, it might be the end and everything. I just hated that factor there that they don't get an opportunity to get one more game and everything else like that because it's not just about, you know, just making the playoffs, but also, you know, getting the chance to be with your guys for one more week and getting that opportunity because any type of sport, I mean, we cover so much. We cover football, we cover basketball, we cover baseball, softball. Making a run, you get those opportunities that you may never get a chance in life ever again. And so if they would have got a chance to play that week, I mean, who knows? That might have even would have brought them closer together or something else like that. So, just had to hate that it took been taken away from them like that.
most definitely. Lamar Primetime Gafford, man, thank you for joining us, and we will see you Thursday, Friday, and Saturday out here in New Orleans, my friend.
Hey, let's do it, guys. I can't wait to link up with y'all.
Definitely, man.
Safe,
Definitely gonna do that.
safe
Definitely.
travels, Lamar.
All right, we'll do. Have a good one, guys.
All right. Our good
You
buddy
too.
Lamar Gafford. We're gonna take a quick
Yep.
commercial break, everybody. When we come back, we're gonna quickly go over the semifinals. But before that, we're gonna talk about this Riverdale slash Wallace Foster situation that's going on the East Bank of Jefferson Parish. We'll be right back here on the Hash It Out Show.
Green Law Firm is a full-service law firm specializing in personal injury, criminal law, successions, and family law. With over 25 years of experience, the Green Law Firm continues to provide efficient, competitive, and effective representation to clients throughout the state of Louisiana and all across the nation. Consultations are free. If you're looking for results, call the Green Law Firm at 504-328-3990. That's 504-328-3990, located at 931 Westwood Drive, Suite B in Marrero, Louisiana. The Green Law Firm.
At Bayou AV Security, we are your one-stop shop for all your needs, whether it's enhancing your home entertainment system, securing your property, ensuring a seamless internet connection, or illuminating your outdoor spaces. We've got you covered. Bayou AV Security, where technology meets reliability. Call us today to experience the Bayou difference.
JFK Martial Arts offers a wide variety of martial arts programs for kids, teens, and adults as they empower lives through martial arts. Please give them a call at 985-266-0664 and don't forget to ask about their 1 week free special. And welcome back to the Hash It Out Show. I'm JB, the sports guy, joined by George Peppers. The question now is, as you heard Coach Foster say, why not Riverdale? The question now that I have is, why Riverdale? Why Riverdale? See, if I was, you know, a regular high school football fan, and I'm watching Friday Night Football, I'm watching, Under the Lights, reading up on CrescentCitySports.com, just reading about the high school football, and I see a team that's usually not competitive with other teams. I see a team that has become competitive with other teams. I see a team that beat the king of their district of all time for the first time ever. I see a team that played for the district championship that lost due to a sack in a scoop six when they were driving down the field, I think, to tie the game up. I see a team that went to the playoffs again. I see all this, and first thing in your mind, you're like, okay, this team here is competing. Man, let's look to see what happens next year. They look good, and you see them in person, man, they got a good wide receiver. Man, the running back, oh my God. Whoa, the quarterback. And then you look at the all-district team, about 6-7 players made all-district. The quarterback is the MVP. So you're sitting there like, okay, man, we don't get this from this team at all. We haven't for years, but all of a sudden, people are talking about the Riverdale Scottish Rebels. They're talking about them, George Peppers, and they're getting respect from outside their community. People saying, hey, this is a pretty decent team this year. And then
I don't think it.
Hold on. Let me
Go
finish.
ahead. I thought you were coming my way. I'm sorry.
Not yet. And then
I did a VK. I'm sorry.
You good. And
I know.
then you get word that the head coach was fired. And you're like, what? So you hear that and you're like, okay, did something happen internally? Like, man, Coach Wallace Foster had a great year with Riverdale. He had he had a vision to get Riverdale over some humps, make them prominent. He had a vision to one day get them to a district championship, get them competing for a state championship. He had the vision, and his first year was great. You could see things coming together. So what was he fired for? Like, what happened? And then you hear something about you practice too much. What? You practice too much? And then you hear something about, well, we don't think it was a good experience for the kids. What? So you scratch your head like, where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? Like, this makes no goddamn sense. And then you go on Twitter. Oh, buddy. All the players are on Twitter and they got Coach Foster's back. Talking about how he made them better people in the 10 months he was at the school. Oh, buddy. So the plot thickens. Come to find out, the principal last year hired Coach Wallace Foster. That principal is gone, I believe, retired. So now there's a new principal, and pretty much the AD, I'm not going to say his name, they did not want Wallace Foster the head coach. So now let's figure out a way to get rid of Wallace Foster. And crazy enough, what's crazy is another reason that he was so-called fired is that he didn't win a district championship. Oh boy, but when was the last time Riverdale won a district championship? Tell me that. When was the last time Riverdale won a district championship? So you're telling me Wallace Foster, the head coach, one of the reasons he got fired because he didn't win a district championship? The man had the team in a game with East Jeff. The winner becomes the district champions. And they were in that game and they didn't get it done. Kyle Walker, I believe that's his name, who was the coach last year, he didn't get the district championship. He didn't get one. So that administration, Riverdale, they could be mad at me all they want. But an injustice was done to Coach Foster. An injustice was done to Coach Wallace Foster. All those kids came out and had his back. Every one of them went on Twitter and had his back about how he changed them as a person, changed them to a better person, how they will fight for him. And now they got petitions going around for people to sign so that he can stay their coach. So what did that tell you? What did that tell you? One season, he's gone. Come on, people. They had a great year at Riverdale. If he wasn't your person, the new person, the AD, he's not your person, but give him the opportunity. Give him another 2 years. Let his vision develop. Year 3 doesn't develop. Okay. Do what you got to do. I understand it then. But the man made a lot of progress with those kids and the players and on the field. You saw the progress. You saw it on the field. And you get rid of this man? I couldn't believe what I saw. There's a lot more I could say about that certain situation, but I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to keep that with me. But just know, Coach Wallace Foster was done wrong by the Riverdale Scottish Rebels. They did him wrong. George Peppers.
I can talk. Oh, well, I'm playing. I'm joking. You said you said a lot of things in a short amount of time that make a lot of sense. I agree concurrently with what you have said, but I'm going to play a little devil's advocate, and it's not to defend what Riverdale has done, because to me, there's an old axiom: you can't defend the indefensible. You can't fire him for cause. You can't fire him for job performance. So you figure, let's use this excuse, and that's this: they lost a tooth and nail game to EJ. right? On a scoop and score. And by the way, if you remember, they were in field goal range to win the game. I think they were in range to win it. Okay. Because remember, they got a kicker that can stroke it from he had a leg from about 48 to 53, something like that. So they were in the wheelhouse for that young man to get his shot. It just so happened that their protection failed them, and EJ, being the team they are, took it. Right? They lose to Bonneville the next week. Hangover game. Okay, it's a hangover, right? So they get to the playoffs and got rolled. I forgot who rolled them.
35.
So
35 is
the
a better team.
well, exactly, better program, better team, better facilities, and that said, the Ron Eagles did what they were supposed to do. One of the few games DJ 13 could talk noise about. So, but I'm sorry, I know he's listening. Um, but with that, and so Riverdale may tell you, well, he slumped at the end of the year. We feel like the program's regressing. No, it's not. They just were not fit to handle big situations at this moment. They're young. This was their first foray into district championship games, playoff. Well, they've been to the playoffs a handful of times, very few handful of times, right? When Stuart Bott was there, they made two playoff berths with him. But I just want to know why. The question you asked at the very top: why Riverdale? Why? You know, to me, it's asinine what happened. It really is. When you look at and again, where does Riverdale go from here? See, now you got a rebellious bunch of kids that, oh, by the way, are going to leave Riverdale because they're not going to give a flip flying, you know what, about who they go hire. They're going to go somewhere else. Bonneville, EJ, TJ, Haynes, teams like that. You know, Riverdale is going to suffer and rue the day they made the mistake and stopped the progress of their program. That's exactly what they've done here, and they've squashed the progress of their program. It is a strong opinion, but it is one that merits to be said. Okay, it's not right what happened to Wallace Foster. You don't know what he could have done with a better team next year. They would have graduated a few guys, but the success of this program this year, making a playoff berth, playing for a district championship, and you've got Everett in a state of flux, you got to take advantage of the opportunity as it stands as this moment. John Everett's not going to stay down. Neither is West Jeff. They'll come back. I mean, one may be faster than the other, but right now, you're sitting on an opportunity to really grow this program and establish and put a foothold on the East Bank. That opportunity's gone, Jared. That opportunity right now, December the 10th, 2024, is done. It's over for Riverdale. I don't care if I don't know who they're going to hire to replace Wallace Foster. Like I said, there's going to be an exodus of kids from that school because they've exercised their First Amendment right to freedom of speech and protest. I hate it for Riverdale. We've got friends at Riverdale. You and I, we have a good friend that's a fan of our show, and I hate it for that. I hate it for him. And I hate it for Coach Foster because we got to talk to him, and he's a very engaging guy,
Yes.
right? He's very engaging, but too much practice, man. You could go into an Allen Iverson right now. Okay, I could see overwork. There are coaches that do that. Actually, it's practiced in Central Louisiana in some programs when I was up there. That they would go 2 to 3 a days and stuff like that. But Wallace Foster doing that, this is the cockamamie excuse you give for firing the guy? I could say some more, but we're a family show, and I'm gonna keep it tempered but we are keeping it 100% real and honest. Brutally honest, but honest nevertheless. JB, I don't know what else you could say.
I mean, you said it. I've said it. It's an injustice. He was wrongly let go. There
Yep.
was no need, no need. It's like I said. I really feel that the AD and the new principal, they did not want him. I really feel that the AD, it wasn't the AD's choice. He wasn't the AD's choice. That's what I
Well,
feel.
remember the AD can't fire coaches. It
Oh, I
dumps the
know. Oh
parents.
no, no, yeah, he didn't
And
fire
that's
him.
another
No,
rule that needs that's
yeah,
another rule that needs to change.
yeah. The president, the
The
principal of
principal.
Riverdale,
Yes.
yeah, that's who fired him. But I know the AD has a choice in who can become a coach. They have a choice in
He
who they
does.
hiring, and
Hmm.
Coach Foster wasn't his choice when the old principal was there. It was the old principal that chose Coach Foster, and
Hmm.
that's when the why not Riverdale started, becoming a phrase. Why not Riverdale? Like Coach Foster, like, you can come to Riverdale. We're gonna make this happen, and he had a plan. And you see his plan was starting to come into fruition. It was starting to work. In the games we went to, it was starting to work.
Hmm.
And like I said, competed for the district championship against East Jeff, just came up short. But you saw great things starting to happen for Riverdale with Coach Foster, and then this happens. And I mean, it's like you are a school that does not win in sports. You don't. And now you got a coach who was very loyal and determined to change a program around. Change the program around. Give the guy a chance. I'm just saying, you in all your sports, Riverdale, you don't win. You don't, and it's not to make fun of them or disrespect them, but it's the truth. They don't win. So now here's a guy about to win, and his first year does great, and this happens. So that's all I gotta say. They did Coach Wallace Foster wrong. Um, I wish Coach Wallace Foster and his whole staff the best moving forward wherever they go. He's going to land up on his feet somewhere. Trust me on that. He got a good. His assistant coaches are good. They're good. They know the game. They know the game. So man, it was just watching Riverdale, and you saw major progress from what you were accustomed to seeing. All right, that's it on that situation. We're going to talk about some of these games quickly. We're not going to take too long, but let's get into some of these games. George Peppers, and I'm going to split the screen. I'll share the screen, I should say. Just give me a
Hmm.
chance. Division 4, select. Yeah, Seldom. Their loss and will be someone else's game. You're correctly. You're right. You're right. Haynesville over Welsh, 30-15. South Plaquemines
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
over.
whoa! That's the quarters. That's the quarters.
Oh yeah, my fault.
Yeah, progress. You good?
I'm about
Progress
to get
on,
back
brother.
up.
I got your back, bro.
You got me. You got me. All right, here we go. I'm gonna start from the
Always.
bottom. Logan Sport loses to South Plaquemines 20-14. Haynesville over General Trash 52-20. That sets the matchup between Haynesville and South Plaquemines. Division 4 select.
Hmm.
We have Vermilion Catholic defeated Kentwood 33-0. Yeah.
Who picked that wood? Oh, that's right. You did.
Yeah. And Washington Christian defeats Ascension Catholic 24-22. That sets up Vermilion Catholic against Washington Christian. Division 3 non-select. We got St.
St. James
James
over Union
over Union
Parish.
Parish 43-36.
Hmm.
And then Sterlington over Gina 48-14. We have a semifinal rematch from last year for the championship this year between St. James and Sterlington. Division 3 select. Bunkie loses to Dunham 46-22. And Catholic of New Iberia defeats Calvary Baptist 33-31. Catholic of New Iberia was down 31-24. They went down and scored. I think they missed
Missed
the
the
extra
extra
point.
point.
And,
Yep.
and 31-30. They got the onside kick, went down the field a little bit, and got the game-winning
Walk,
field goal. So
walked
that
it
says,
off.
yep, walk off, game-winning field goal. So that sets up Dunham versus Catholic of New Iberia. Division 2 non-select. Franklinton over Iowa, 35-29. That was a good matchup there.
Mhm.
And Cecilia over Plaquemine, 55-35. You have Franklinton taking on Cecilia. I saw Coach Salt today at the presser at Hooters out here in Metairie, and he says, not only are they have to prepare for Diesel Solari, but they got to prepare for the weapons he has also. So Coach Salt not just looking at Diesel Solari, he's looking at everybody on that team. Division 2 select, the Shaw Eagles defeated Madison Prep 35-28. Shaw at one time had a 35-14 lead, and their defense had to make a stop on 4th down and goal from the 6-yard line to win that game when it was 35-28. And then Edie White big over Leesville 41-13. So that sets up Shaw and Edie White. Division 1 non-select. You have Central over Neville 17-13. We talked about that earlier. We thought that Neville was the better team, just made some mistakes, and then the block field goal. Hey, it's part of football. Not taking nothing away from Central of Baton Rouge at all. Not at all. And then Ruston big over Destrehan, finally getting the win over Destrehan, 44-7. We get Central versus Ruston. And in Division 1 select, Edna Carr and Caliga Baton Rouge gave us a great game. But Carr victorious 21-19. When you think about that missed extra point or the blocked extra point, I can't remember which one it was, and then Caliga going for 2, it didn't get it. That's the difference of your ball game, folks, because this could be a 21-21 game in overtime, and somebody else got to find a way to win.
Yep.
And on the other side, Alexandria over John Curtis, 24-13. 12 o'clock Saturday, going to be a lot of purple and gold in the whole dome as Edna Carr takes on Alexandria. All right, George Peppers.
Mm-hmm.
We have the championships set.
Yep.
Tell me a game that you're looking forward to.
All of them.
Of course.
I mean, come on, that's the easy answer, right?
Of
But
course.
I think let me attest to one thing before I make that decision. Of the 8 games, 7 1 seeds are playing.
Yes.
7. You know what that tells me? We got the best PowerPoint system in the state. Bar none. They are so calculating and so accurate that they were able to decipher Franklinton as a 1. Neville's the only 1 seed not to get to the dome. The only one. And that's the last game of the weekend on Saturday. Now, as far as which game I'm looking forward to, if I could eliminate personal, and family out, I would say Shaw, Edie White, because of my younger brother, and for you, you're one of my closest and dearest friends, and I got friends that have gone to Shaw. That it would mean a ton if they won this title.
Yeah.
But as far as the game that I'm looking forward to, I want to see Vermilion Catholic and Ouachita Christian, and here's why. Vermilion Catholic has been motoring people down this year, right? Averaging north of 45 points. Crazy numbers, right? Ouachita Christian, the year of redemption for that group. Remember, they had the dome in their hands last year. Gave back a 15-point lead inside of 5 minutes to go at Mumford against Southern Lab and lost. You think those boys ain't ready for a little bit of catchback? They're getting it. I don't know if they win against Vermilion Catholic, and I think that's the first game of the day, Thursday, if I'm not mistaken.
Thursday. That's correct.
Correct. Yeah, Austin, I'm a fan of those hype videos too. Next year, he's going to do one when John Eric plays Select Division 1, right? If they get it right. Anyway, that being said, that's the one game. If you ask me to pin down on one game, that would be it. The most curious game I would give you. I want to know how good you are, Catholic New Iberia, because you went to Calvary Baptist and chased those guys down who have an offense that is silly good. and you won that ball game. Fair up, Dunham. We know what you got with Elijah Hammond. We know what you got. That dude is going to be a Division I recruit before his senior year.
No, he already
Um,
is. He got an
I mean,
LSU
he already
offer.
is. So, with that said, I mean, those are the two games. I mean, I could give you Car Alexandria, but then I would be accused of New Orleans bias, just all because seeing Car play and this, that, and I got some ties with Sedlaw and yada, 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 whatever. Look, with that Vermilion Catholic Watchdog Christian game that starts us off, that's the appetizer. Holy cow. But, the generic answer is all eight. I mean, because we're going to be there for all 8 games from start to finish, and it's going to be a great day. Get home in time to see who wins the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
We'll miss. Yeah, I mean, that seems like an afterthought. I think it's Ashton Jonty after what he did last week. If there's any doubt, 24, 97, 29 touchdowns. Beat that. But what about you, Jared? I mean, take away the alumnus hat for a second. I know Shaw, Edie White is an easy answer, but if you had to be, and you're always objective at every trip, but if you're looking at this menu and you're like, man, look, which game would I buy a ticket for to see?
I'm laughing at Troy. All right.
I see that. I see that.
Tell you what, man, I can sit here and tell you like 2 years ago, man, the one I wanted was Manny and Union. That was the one 2 years ago. Like I had to see Curtis Tackett play and Trey Holly was playing. I said, that's the one I gotta see. And
Tackett Curtis, by the way.
Tackett Curtis, I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah,
And I was there for that one, man. Tackett Curtis was the
we
best
were.
player in the state
And
that year.
they slaughtered
Yeah,
Union that day.
they did. And y'all two was on the sideline, and I was in the stands, you know. I was in the stands watching. Y'all was in UNVK on the sideline, and y'all came to talk to me while the game was going on. But yeah, Tackett Curtis was the best player in the state. I know some would say Arch Manning, but Tackett Curtis. Last,
I agree.
yeah, last year, I would say the St. James Union game was one I wanted to see, and Zachary and Ruston. Those were like the top two. No, I'm sorry. Erase that. Erase that. The rematch with STM and LCA
Lafayette
was number
Christian.
one. That was number one on my list.
And to this day, a year later,
Yeah. So Jordan and Troy.
Joy Jordan. Wow.
So
That
so now I'm not gonna lie. So take away the Division II select
alumnus.
game, right? Yeah, take away that
Yep.
one. Take away that one. Um, the one I really want to, I would say, interested would be South Plaquemines and Haynesville.
Agree. I
This
can
is a
give you that
matchup.
one.
Yeah, this is a matchup I want to see with Haynesville and South Plaquemines. They've played before, but it's been multiple years since they played.
It has
And
been.
when South Plaquemines made their run, it was South Plaquemines and Haynesville, the top two teams in division, or not division, Class 1A. Class 1A, they were the top two. So here we are now, Division 4, non-select. Coach Lyle Feet was on the only two state championship teams that South Plaquemines has. Now he's taken over and now he's got them back in the dome. And he has a bunch of athletes on his team that could play both sides. Well, Haynesville got talent too on their team. So I really want to see how this matches up at 3:30 on Thursday. I want to see how these two teams match up. Can
And
South
guess
Plaquemines use their speed and get the win, or does Haynesville just overpower them and they get the win? That's the one I really want to see.
and guess who's on the call for that game? My younger brother Emmanuel Pepis will be calling play-by-play on CrescentCitySports.com. Haynesville and South Plaquemines.
Yeah.
No, the beard's gone Saturday, bro. Alston, the beard's gone. I can guarantee you, and I'm actually gonna wear a hat Friday, just to make
Oh,
sure
you got
VK's
hat?
with me.
God,
I'm
I
wearing
never
a hat Friday.
I
Oh,
never
don't
seen
worry,
you with that.
you gonna respect this hat.
Okay.
Just
Yeah, it's probably a
you go.
Michigan hat.
No, it ain't no miss. No, I can't do that. I got something better, way better.
Oh
But
man.
no, you talk about South Plaque and Haynesville. The raw emotion that I felt going on the field with VK post game, man, that the raw emotion was just great to see. seeing Coach Feet and seeing that community just embrace each other. It's like we're going to New Orleans, and it's like, damn, it's been a while, 15 years.
15
You
years.
think they're gonna beat the doors down at the Caesar Superdome, right? Um, Man, but look, Haynesville and Emmanuel and I talk about this team. He said it's one of the most efficient and team. It's not a team that's going to beat themselves. They are very disciplined and very very focused, but they're going to run into a defense that is athletic, that can get it. And if they're able to win the battle in the trenches, it stands to reason they have an extremely good chance to win that game. On the carpet, I'll tell you who I was impressed with: Roderick Parker Sr., Jr.
Mhm.
Roderick Parker Jr., the quarterback Friday night. There were plays that he's like, you know what, Jaheim, look, bro, you had your shine last week. I'm taking over tonight. There were
Yeah,
plays that he needed to make, and he made them, and that's what won that ball game. And credit Logan Sport for how they played that game. They were there all night long, 48 minutes, and the class they showed afterward. They came up and shook South Blackman's hands, and then they just hurried up and got on the bus. I mean, 367-mile trips are not easy,
right.
but they represented themselves well. But oh, I think about it. We're almost here. One more. I got one more day of work, and then 3 days of fun football. There's gonna be a lot of fun this weekend in New Orleans at the Caesar Superdome. But I'm sure the emotions are gonna kick off if you guys win state Friday. If Shaw wins Friday, I'm sure there's gonna be emotion with them. If you guys win it,
We'll see.
come on,
You
bro.
know,
You already know. VK might bear hug you. Well, maybe.
he better not. Anyway, um, Jordan, I remember when we talked before the season, and I remember telling you, I said, no one's talking about South Plaquemine. This is before the season started. I said, no one's talking about South
Yep.
Plaquemine. I said, they're not in Division Two non-select anymore. In Division One non-select. And I said, they're gonna make noise. They're gonna make noise. And Jordan did pick them on that bracket release show. I remember watching it when they
He
was in
did.
the it was at LCA, the KVN TV studios, and he picked them.
Yep.
Yep. And when we do it, we don't actually pick the guys
The
going to the
champion.
championship until the semis. We picked the top four
Hmm.
to get to the semis, and we all had South Plaque, I believe, me, you, and VK. And
Yes, we did.
yep. And then I know we couldn't pick them because we had the game of the week, but here,
Surely.
yeah, here they are. Anthony Branson. Yeah, you're gonna see us Saturday on the sidelines. We will be there. We'll be there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You will see us on the sideline. And yeah, this season it flew, man. It flew. It flew, man. And
We'll see
Hornville,
about that
Hornville,
second statement.
Hornville to the Dome in 25. They're gonna Hornville gonna be a better team next year. Yeah, they lose a couple
Uh,
people. Jacob Jeffrey, Kobe, CJ Smith. They lose some people, but they got people ready to step in. Hornville will be a good team this year. This won't be no, I don't think it'll be
Fluke.
a second round and out. But like I said, Hornville's a team that's always been in the quarterfinals. And Coach Bourne first year, he almost got there. I think they'll be there next year. Seldom seen. Just left Mason and Jasper. They ready. Yeah, I saw Mason today at the presser, also at Hooters. He was there. Um, he's ready also. So yeah, definitely. Um, Austin Tyler, Jordan picked South Plaquemine to lose in the semis though. Well,
I don't think he did.
I don't remember that. I
I don't
don't.
either.
Yeah, I remember. I know for sure he picked to go to the championship. But Jacquez, I'm glad you found us too, man. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell us, man. Yeah, me and George make a great team, man. I don't know why I got VK on this show, man. Me and George.
Oh no! I knew you were gonna go there. You dog. You dog.
Nah,
That is so
his
cold.
his three of us. Mr. Boudreaux is three of us, me, George, and VK, man. So we can't leave VK out. I look, I've been in a clowning mood on VK for the past few days, man. I just can't stop it. But no, we can't
I
leave
guess so. I
VK.
mean, the best one was what was it? We Facebook chat. I'm gonna recollect this. We talk about highlights of our season. We pick every week and we always dig on each other, and it's all love for the three of us. But what was it? VK kept harassing me. Come on, George. Who won the picks? Who won the picks? Remember that week? And he
Yeah,
finished. He was in the basement. And your recording, you can't replay it because we're a family show.
right.
But that was classic stuff. Massive classic. Like Turner Classic Movies good stuff. You know, and like and VK had no response. All he did, but it was like, I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired. I'm like, dude, quit finishing last. That's how you stop that abuse. Quit finishing last. But last week, he killed us. He won 12 games last week. And now the spread is one game. All
I
right,
tell you
Anthony.
what, Anthony, he didn't have any issues today, so
Not at all.
it was good today.
It was real good today.
Oh man, oh man,
Hmm.
definitely, Mr. Boudreaux.
Absolutely.
Mr. Boudreaux,
Absolutely.
definitely. Everybody, thank y'all for joining us tonight. We are back tomorrow night at 7:30, and at
Hmm.
7:45, we will be joined by the head coach of the Catholic New Iberia Panthers, Coach Matt DeSormo. He's going to join us tomorrow night, talk about the season, the game coming up, all that good stuff from Catholic New Iberia. And all my Catholic New Iberia fans that are here tonight, go and tell everybody come back tomorrow because Coach DeSomo's on. We want all
Yep.
y'all. And I talked about some of them Catholic Iberia fans today at the presser. I said, yeah, man, when we said that they would lose to Newman, man, and man, they came at it. I said, they came at me.
They stampeded.
Came at me, man. They say that saying I was
Yes.
disrespectful to them. Like, I wasn't disrespectful to y'all at all. And then I picked against them again, and they came at me. They didn't say I was just disrespectful, but they came, but it's actually with them, it's all in good fun with Catholic New Iberia people, to be honest with you, man. And I thank them for joining us, being a part of this show, man. And can't wait to have their head coach on the show tomorrow, GP. GP, you got any last words before we go?
Listen, Catholic New Iberia fans, we're going to see you guys this weekend. And I'm sure they're going to be like, oh, look, there's the Hash It Out Show, guys. And I don't think they'll throw tomatoes at you like they do on the cartoons, Jared. I don't think they'll do that. That's a highlight of the season. I didn't forget about that. VK with Dunham in his top five. That's a highlight. Yeah. Uh, Austin, we're just gonna have to figure an over under next year when VK gonna throw one of them little curveballs. No,
Right.
Ephus pitch. It's one of those like a knuckler or something. But
Hmm.
final thoughts. Listen, tomorrow night we got Matt DeSormo, and we're going to pick all 8 games, championship games. Jordan, it's going to be great to see you and Mr. Gary Swallow in the dome. Man, I can't wait to hang out with you guys and kick it on football. Kick off about football, and it sucks. It's great, but it's bittersweet because this is it. After Saturday at 7 o'clock, we're done football wise. But that doesn't mean the Hash It Out show is done at all. We'll transition to prep basketball. Um, it's gonna be fun stuff. And tomorrow night, I'm looking forward to the show. I'll bet that I will absolutely bet.
Oh man, yes,
Once is Jordan trying to give VK the title. Jerry, look at that, man. All right,
yeah.
Benedict,
Look,
Judas.
look,
All right,
look,
Judas.
look. When we finish our show tomorrow, Jordan will have his show going on. Everybody under the lights, y'all can go on Facebook and go
Yep.
transition from
And they
our
do
show
an
to his
incredible
show.
job. They do an
Yeah,
incredible job there.
exactly. And they're gonna have their picks and everything. And somebody can go in there and say Enoch is going 8-0.
Yeah, we need to set something up, Jordan. Next, maybe for Enoch and VK to do a battle of the
Well, look,
basement.
Enoch's gonna be there Friday and Saturday, or he's gonna be there.
Yes, he
Enoch gonna be
will.
there for sure. I know Holden's coming in Friday and Saturday. Jordan's gonna be there all 3 days. So
Yep,
we'll all get together for sure. I know where Jordan and them sit, even though Jordan
they do.
may not be sitting there as much this year. If I leave it at that, but I know where
Yeah,
they're sitting.
I think I know where that's going. Okay,
Yeah, we'll we'll link up. Look at Troy. Enoch is not going 8-0.
man. Why you hating on the dude, bro? It's the
Oh my
Christmas season. Oh wait a minute, Austin. We holding you to that.
God.
We gonna hold you to it.
Definitely, yeah. Jacquez, yeah, me and Jordan, yeah, we're good friends. We'll share stuff for each other, definitely, man.
Great people under
Definitely
the
great
lights.
people,
Those
man.
guys are outstanding.
Love those guys, man. Love those guys. Well,
Yep.
everybody, we're gonna go ahead and end this now. Thank you all for tuning in. Come back tomorrow at 7:30. We got Coach DeSomo, and then we're gonna do our picks. We're gonna shut it down. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Hold on. Thank you to Chris Singleton and Lamar Gafford for
Yep.
joining us tonight. And got my man GP. I'm JB the Sports Guy. We'll see y'all tomorrow night at 7:30. Y'all take care. Feeling drained from the constant noise in your daily life? Immerse yourself in pure audio bliss with drums. Experience a world of crystal clear sound, free from distractions. Discover the ultimate relaxation and escape into an oasis of serenity. Grab yours today. drumsworld.com.
If you're looking for the best pizza in Metro New Orleans, then you're in the right place. Moe's Pizza has a great selection of Italian food that can satisfy your appetite, and they can also cater to your needs in any event. Give them a call at 504-341-9650 or log on to www.moespizzanola.com, located at 1112 Avenue H in West Wego, Louisiana. Moe's Pizza, Italians do it better.
All right, folks, as we kick off tonight's football game, let's take a moment to talk about something just as important as a winning playbook: your financial future. Kaylin Parker, a financial advisor with Magnolia Wealth Strategies, is here to help you stay financially fit off the field. From retirement and estate planning to investment management and even insurance needs, Kaylin Parker is here to help you. Reach out to Kaylin at 504-613-2161 or at cparker@financialguide.com.
Hi, my name is Micah Higgins, head boys basketball coach at Bonneville High, and you're watching the
Thank you for watching the Hash It Out Show. Please like, subscribe, and